What is a heritage? When we talk of Indian architectural heritage, we have a wealth of images to draw upon. Images of structures and settlements that illustrate historic genius in building and planning. Surely, a heritage is much more. It is, perhaps, the ability to constantly amalgamate disparate experience into a cohesive whole. Indian architectural heritage is characterized by sound logic, guided by a clear perception, resulting in the achievement of a humane environment. It is evident in the intelligent use of materials, the understanding of the relationships between space and usage, and perhaps most significantly, the ability to integrate the natural and human factors in the built-up environment. When we talk of a living heritage, we tend to forget the living part of it, the men and women who were an intrinsic part of Indian architectural tradition. They were discerning, intelligent human beings, in no way fundamentally different from today's artisans, transmitting their ideas and skills into the pragmatic task of construction, thereby creating an environment which is warm and rich in texture. The same environment has lived through generations, satisfying the aspiration of man to identify with his home. A glance at many of the modern building sites reveals that these skills are very much alive. One perceives that even with a small group of workers provided with a general brief and the responsibility for its execution. There is a clarity of objective and a startlingly wide scope for individual initiative. But as one moves up in scale to more typical contemporary building activities, large commercial complexes, mass housing schemes, and even larger schemes of plotted development, this living heritage seems to disappear. To achieve a responsive environment, one often romanticizes the traditional and resorts to vernacularism. Vernacular architecture has manifested itself in small, quaint townships with crooked streets. Appropriate technology is what you'd let your neighbor live in. And tragically, low-cost housing means providing low-income families with low-quality shelter. Often, the difference between a cattle shed and an EWS house is the existence of a toilet in the latter. Take away the toilets, and all that remains are mundane rows of habitable sheds. An architectural environment is the living expression of a building culture, which, in turn, is born out of the interaction between a team of players. The bricklayer, the foreman, the engineer, the architect, the planning agency, and most importantly, the user. Unfortunately, much of today's architecture is an exercise in creating floor space and then dividing it with walls to fulfill the prerequisite area requirements, with no regard whatsoever for the human element. Little attention is paid to the need for creating interactive spaces that are alive. Children intuitively perceive and respond to their environment, an ability which we seem to lose somewhere along the line, as we reshape and remold our thinking along preset patterns. At an early age, a child's drawings have a remarkable completeness of vision about them. Highly intuitive forms and well-blended, warm textures make up a cohesive pattern. These include interactive spaces, complete with the elements of family, friends, and even pets, to make the house a home. These homes are invariably clustered together, suggesting a community, but their individual shapes and sizes vary with surprising boldness and imagination. As children grow older, these coherent communities re-emerge, now transformed into blocks of box-like tenements, devoid of any personality and interactive space. These mundane rows of dehumanized houses seem to be complemented only by equally box-like parked cars. The inanimate elements of the built-up environment completely dominate the organic processes underway, within and around the space. There is simply no room left in this vision for human life, with all its complexity and variety. As architects, builders and technologists, we undergo a similar transformation by observing that which confronts us and blindly following conventional techniques. We break stones and combine them again with an adhesive-like cement to form concrete. Then, disregarding the material's prime advantage, its plasticity, we use it as a flat RCC slab. Under the garb of efficient land use and maximum density comfort, we go high-rise, disregarding the fact that after 4 floors, we not only get a lower density, but compartmentalized lifestyles, thus dispensing with urban spaces and leading to further alienation. We build mass housing schemes in endless rows, losing valuable land to the vast network of connecting roads that are necessitated. These roads not only reduce green areas, but push up costs requiring paving materials, street lamps, and other infrastructure. Yet, these schemes find their way in housing, despite conclusive evidence that cluster planning offers a low-rise, high-density solution, a humane solution. It is only when one starts looking at today's urbanscape with a child's clarity of vision that the dysfunctionalities become clear, like the emperor's new clothes. This series is not intended to be merely an exercise in academic criticism. It is targeted at throwing up questions, keeping in mind the demands and perceptions of the common man. Comprehensive solutions to these questions will be shown on a continuing basis. Solutions which have been tried and found to be functional, and yet easy to replicate. These innovations point to the imperative need to evolve an intelligent building technology which is characterized by its rational approach to problems and by the simplicity of the construction techniques, exploring materials and providing variety, color and texture. The result of the process is to dramatically cut input costs by rationalizing the use of building materials so as to take optimum advantage of the inherent qualities of these materials. The building techniques emphasize the reduction of material inputs to the minimum necessary level, while maximizing the human participation in the construction process. The creative potentials of architects and masons are unleashed, resulting in dramatic, permanent finishes without extravagant costs. Forthcoming series will feature a highly successful range of alternative building strategies and materials individually, with a view towards a comprehensive approach to integrated plans, materials and their manufacture. This series will take a fresh look at some of the most basic materials and components that go into a structure. The bricks and stones used for walls, and a variety of compression structures used for laying roofs. Among the examples we will be examining is the Ram Lochan tile, which has a dovetail construction. This integrates the permanent surface provided by the tile with the building blocks themselves. The non-erodible diaphragm of the tile can be used with backup materials as diverse as mud or lean concrete. The tile allows artisans to experiment with a large variety of permanent finishes and textures, thus avoiding plastering and painting, and simultaneously maintaining an infinitely better urban scape. The earth has provided us with the most basic building material in the form of mud. An innovative use of mud with 2% cement is used to make stabilized mud blocks. A stone diaphragm on the exposed surface provides a non-erodible surface to the block. Hence, the plasticity and thermal insulation of mud can be used to advantage without compromising on durability. Sandwich polystyrene panels are an innovative category of components which replace the redundant concrete in the interior with polystyrene, introducing insulation and also making the panels lightweight and cost-effective. Shuttering limits the design of the module, but the panels being pre-finished on ground without the use of shuttering enables flexibility in achieving a wide variation in its forms. The exhibition hall at the Building Center in Nizamuddin explores the integration made possible between two heterogeneous, even dissonant buildings. Neither the form nor the functions of the two structures are common. Yet, a single coherent structure is achieved by the subtle use of common elements. Here, the deployment of high-technology building techniques, such as a space frame, and the intelligent use of a wide spectrum of building materials was given coherence by the intelligent use of texture. A myth surrounds the construction and application of structures like geodesic domes and space frames. In reality, these structures are based around a simple principle, involving a clarity in understanding the distribution of load in a three-dimensional form. Prevalent residential planning schemes limit themselves to plotted and multi-story development. This series will present the concept of cluster planning, which provides the missing link between the two for upgradation and rehabilitation of slums. Typically, a cluster includes a number of units grouped around an interactive space, with the entrance of alternating units from one court and the ventilation taken from the adjacent court. This structuring renders the common space non-encroachable, preventing property speculation, which, given the socio-economic dynamics of urban resettlement, can be a major problem. At the same time, these structures often help in reducing development costs and restricting increase in family units, while permitting families to grow. Cluster planning need not be restricted to EWS housing, but can be used as a viable alternative to conventional group housing. Significantly, using building center technology and an array of materials, a demonstration unit of a cluster of 5 has been successfully converted into an office, proving that low-cost housing does not mean compromise on aesthetics and mindless reproduction of boxes. Rationalized use of material can often be made to suit the most demanding circumstances. Bharatiyam Gram, an area of 15,000 square meters was developed, in which an entire settlement of 151 octagedules were built from scratch in 6 weeks, without a single tree being felled on the entire site. Using a wide variety of materials to complement the colors offered by the monuments, the settlement is made to merge with the surrounding archaeological site. Often, land is underutilized, even though the site can be transformed with an appropriate choice of material and rationalized construction methodologies. Anangpur, a vast urban wasteland that is in the process of being transformed, using an array of materials, processes, and structures at the site, provides proof for establishing the viability of such alternatives. Materials in compression have stood the test of time. Owing to its high strength when used in compression, the age-old roofing system, the funicular shell, the vault, and the arch are some of the components that have proved their utility in a wide variety of situations. Their use was discontinued because the formwork for shuttering was difficult to build. Now, however, the formwork is made easier. By casting the shell on a jute fabric and using its sag by self-weight to advantage, a doubly curved funicular shell is achieved. By sandwiching polystyrene between two such shells, the sandwich ferroconcrete funicular shell is fabricated, simultaneously achieving insulating properties. Fiberglass funicular molds can be used as shuttering to cast in situ funicular shells using a variety of waste materials. The flexibility of foam, variation in material, and ease of replication makes it possible to cast splendid roofs. Contrary to belief, ferrocement molding is stunningly simple to cast. It's seen in abundance on the roadside, as in the case of ferrocement jalis, railings, and wash basins. The same artisan needs to be made aware of the potential of the material, and the mason trained in the technique and its application. The ferrocement arch lintel is a functional solution to the problem of providing formwork for an arch, along with providing a lintel on top of the door frames. In case the arch is extended, it functions as a sunshade, avoiding the need for in situ fabrication of RCC lintels and door frames. Conventional doors can be replaced by paper honeycomb doors, fabricated by sandwiching egg crates or paper honeycomb between two sheets of ply. This not only conserves precious timber, but reduces the weight on door hinges, increasing their life. Significantly, the strength of the door is in no way compromised. A large number of individuals and organizations have evolved cost-effective alternative building materials and strategies. But owing to inadequate public exposure, homeowners, architects, builders and engineers at large cannot benefit from the experiments. We are engaged in a continuous effort to explore, develop and document innovative ideas. We would appreciate interaction with viewers, and so, if there are any interesting developments in your area, it will be our endeavor to document it for the benefit of reaching a large cross-section of people.